Alright, what is up guys? NinjaDeathStrike here, bringing you some more Pokemon Showdown battles. Still in UU, I have more UU battles than I thought. I thought this week was the last week, but I think next week's the last one, and then we'll get some RU for a little bit, and then I'll see what I feel like playing after that. Maybe I'll attempt OU again. Apparently the metagame's a lot different, because Charizard, of all things, is the most used Pokemon there, but I'm perfectly happy with UU. It's always been one of my favorite tiers, and that remains true to this day. So, not sure if I had Ambipom in the last video. There is a time period where I was trying him out over Mindshow. I've switched back, but I think both are good. They have a few different strengths, and I just wanted to try the speed of Ambipom, but it turned out to be not too relevant. There were a few times that it was nice to be able to outspeed things that Mindshow wouldn't. And they serve a very similar purpose, but I did like the regenerator on Mindshow. It gives them a lot more versatility and the ability to switch in and out a lot more. So anyhow, my opponent's team is up here at the top. We've got some pretty heavy hitters. Florges, I'm assuming this is going to be Mega Aggron, who actually sees a fair amount of play. Arcanine and Crobat are all really, really good things, and then these guys are also good. Slowbro's not quite what he used to be. Probably just because of the prevalence of dark types and knockoff. And Hippowdon, I really don't know what to expect. He was OU last gen. I mean, other than Sand, he's just a big, bulky guy, I guess. So he probably has Stealth Rocks. But pretty well balanced team. It looks like this should be a good match. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to lead with all hands the Ambipom, because I wanted to try him out. He makes a great scout. Gonna go for the fake out. He doesn't have a ghost, so I'm gonna hit something. I really don't care what it is. And then I'm gonna U-turn as he switches back into Crobat. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of switch initiative here as well. Go into Groxy Arcanine. I don't really have a super solid way to deal with Crobat, other than just kind of wearing him down slowly, I guess. But he's going to switch into Hippowdon. I'm going to take a ton of passive damage. Life Orb, Sand, and Recoil are all going to add up. That Flare Blitz did a massive amount to Hippowdon, though, over half. Unfortunately, with the leftovers, he is going to be able to get out of 2-hit KO range, only just. So I think had I had Stealth Rocks up there, it might have been a clean 2-hit KO, which would be sweet. But it's okay. Still hurt him pretty good, and it's going to limit his usefulness, hopefully, in the later games if I can keep him from being able to slack off. So Slowbro is basically going to kill Donphan here, but I do get to set up Stealth Rocks. I always forget that Defog is a thing now, so I looked at his team. I didn't see a Rapid Spinner, so my thought process was, oh, well, once I get Stealth Rocks up, they're there to stay. No, Crobat has Defog. Crobat's probably one of the best users of Defog, just because it's such a great utility Pokemon already. Adding a way to get rid of hazards is really nice. So that's what he's going to do. I'm just setting up with Suicune here. He doesn't seem interested in threatening me at all, which is not something you want to do against Sleepycune. He will kill you, and that is pretty much what's going to happen. He dirtled around too much. Now he kind of goes into Florges, I guess hoping that Moonblast is going to be able to save him. But it's not going to do enough to get me back down to my base stats. He does go for the Toxic here, which would be a neat trick if I didn't have Rest. I'm going to get the Burn with a Scald, which is nice on Slowbro because it's going to help combat the Regenerator, as I'm sure that Slowbro is going to keep switching around. I choose to go for the Rest here. I know that Slowbro can't hurt me. If he switches, that's fine. I want to make sure I have full health so that I should be able to take 2 physical hits from any physical threat that he brings in, and I should be able to do that if I'm at full health. So that was my plan. He goes back into Florges, which is fine. I could not care less. He does go into Hippowdon here, and I was potentially expecting a Roar, but he does not get the chance to do that. Hippowdon goes down. Florges comes back in. It has lowered my special attack several times. Looks like twice, based on the stat boost. But at this point, it doesn't matter because he can't kill me ever with anything. I think the only chance he had was to roar me out with Hippowdon. And as soon as that happened, as soon as that didn't happen, he was pretty much done. So at this point, it's just going to be academic. He's going to forfeit, and that is going to be a 6-0 with Sleepycune taking down another team on his own. So, you know, it was a good match until Sleepycune started setting up, and then it snowballed real fast, which is something that Sleepycune has the ability to do right now. I think just because a lot of people aren't bringing answers for him. If he ever went up in usage, you'd see a lot more ways to deal with him. But right now, there just aren't that many. Probably another big part of it is that there's just not move slot room for Roar or Haze or moves like that anymore, like there used to be in 4th gen. There's just so many utility moves you need to try and do. You can't get them all, so you're almost forced to have some kind of weakness on your team that's exploitable by the right team. And it just happened that this guy didn't have a way to phase me out. So that's going to be the match. We'll go on to the second one. I'm going to be up at the top this time, still using Ambipom. My opponent's down here, so we've got some interesting choices. Donphan, Arcanine, Shaman, Blastoise. These guys are all solid, top 20 UU guys. You see them quite a bit, so I kind of know what they're going to do, but they're also very threatening, especially Shaman. Shaman can be a really big problem for teams that don't have a way to deal with it, and my team is not super well equipped to take it down. Seed Flare is definitely going to be a problem because it's going to limit Umbreon's ability to take a sustained amount of hits. But hopefully I can, just keep it in check with Arcanine, which it's easier said than done. So he also has these two guys, Azelf and Braviary. Braviary was kind of a big deal when Gen 5 came out, but he proved to be just not quite good enough. Probably due to his speed, because he really has almost everything else you'd want from a flyer. Flying is a very solid type, in my opinion. Underused one. Other than the Stealth Rock weakness, it's a really good attacking type. And it has a lot of good resistances, too. But, Braviary just couldn't find his place. There were always better type combinations than normal to pair with flying. So I think that's why he was such a low tier last gen, and probably will continue to be this gen. And then Azelf has always surprised me that it's not better than it is. On paper, it seems really good, but it just never quite performs up to what you expect. I'm assuming this is probably a Choice Scarf lead set, so I'm going to try and be careful to play around Trick, especially if he leads with it, which he does. So I'm going to lead with All Hands again. It's going to let me get a free Fake Out. He brings in Arcanine. Even after the Intimidate, that does a decent amount, but then he shows me that he has Leftovers, so he's probably... and Intimidate, obviously, so he's probably a much more defensive version than mine. Mine's the flat-out attacker. And that's confirmed right here when he burns Tusker with a Will-O-The-Wisp. I was not expecting that at all. I guess I should have. I forgot that defensive Arcanines usually do run it. Now, the good news is that I do have Heal Bell, so I can get the burn off of Donphan, but it's something that I need to be aware of. I get Whisper in here on the Azelf in case he wanted to trick me. I don't actually mind having a choiced Whisper, since normally he's not in for a whole lot of turns in a row anyhow. I can set up a Wish and then switch out, or just attack with Foul Play. So he opts to go for Stealth Rocks instead and then switches out. It doesn't really prove that he Scarfed because I had a Dark type in, so it might have just meant that he couldn't do anything, but he's going to bring it back in here and eat a Sludge Bomb. I'm not sure what he was predicting there. But yeah, Azelf's dead, so that's great. I don't have to worry about being tricked to Scarf if that's what it had. And yeah, it's just good. Have a pretty big threat down. Going to throw up a Wish here and then die to the poison, but the Wish should still take effect, I believe. I'm always a little sketchy on how Wish mechanics work if your guy dies, but I thought that they stayed around. Okay, it does. So there, I get it set up right there. I'm going to spin away his Stealth Rocks. That'll force his Donphan to come back in, or no, Azelf had Stealth Rocks, so I just eliminate rocks from my side of the field, which is great. I'm assuming that mine aren't going to stick around either, though, as he does have both Donphan and Blastoise. There's no way that neither of those guys have Rapid Spin, so I just need to try and keep the pressure on so that he doesn't have a good opportunity to spin them away. One thing that I wasn't able to fit on my team is a ghost type, which is usually something that I like to have to block the spin, and we're going to see right here, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to do some switching around to get not a very good double switch there, and I'm forced to go into Thorn, predicting the water move, but it misses. Sleep Powder is going to miss Shaman, but that's fine. It's a grass type, so it can't be affected by Sleep Powder anyhow, so no big deal there. I'm going to rest, going to heal up all of my health after surviving that Ice Beam on a sliver, and then switch out. So Roserade's basically fully healed, which is great. Fake Out is going to do a ton of damage to Braviary. It's dead now because it can't switch back out. I decide just to sack all hands. I don't really want to switch into something and have it take a big hit. So, it was probably fine. You know, Ambipom can be quite powerful and is a good sweeper, but I didn't really value it more than the rest of my team. Unfortunately here, Thorn is going to get demolished by a knockoff, which up until this point I didn't even know Donphan could learn, so that makes him even better. He's going to knock off my leftovers on Boreas as well. But I finally kill it, and I don't give him a chance to spin, which is the most important part. So those Stealth Rocks probably stuck on his side of the field now. It is possible that Blastoise still has Rapid Spin, but I would guess that he probably had it on Donphan. I'm going to sack my own Donphan here because it's pretty much worthless. It actually managed to do something after getting burned, which is impressive, but I want to just get an advantageous switch, and I don't want to switch anything else into Shaman, so that was the plan there. Blastoise comes in, I'm going to have to switch out, go into Boreas here, and basically Sleepycune or bust for me. Arcanine is not going to be able to do a whole lot. I think it dies to everything on his team, so it's basically just fodder. It's going to have to come down to Suicune being able to take the win here, which is going to be hard with Shaman in. So he is going to switch into Shaman here. It's going to force me to switch out at a very low amount of health and not a whole lot of options. Luckily, I do manage to outspeed the Shaman, which is great. Had he been running a full speed investment, I think he wins. Maybe it was a speed tie, but it's hard to tell with Shaman since there's so many ways you can run it. But because the Shaman goes down, that means that Boreas now does have a chance to win, a small chance. Dark Pulse is doing about 40%, but I am outspeeding him, so it means that I will be able to hopefully take 2, wake up and rest indefinitely, and accumulate Calm Minds in between those. Or maybe I'm not outspeeding him, because he hits me there. I live on 1% and then rest back up to full health. So I did get a Calm Mind in, which means I am going to be pretty much invulnerable outside of a crit. Gonna take down the Blastoise since it doesn't have any recovery, and then I get the Scald on the Arcanine. So Sleepycune gonna live on 1% and then clean up the game, and that was a very, very close match. So that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Pretty good second match there, and basically this whole video is just to show off how effective Sleepycune is. It's real good. You should try it out in UU. That's going to do it though. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Check out the links in the description. Leave me a comment. Let's see. Question of the day. I don't know if I have a good one. What do you think about Azelf? Is it good in UU? Do you think it'll drop down even lower like it did last time? It was in RU, I believe, in Gen 5. So what do you guys think about it? If you've used it or faced it, let me know in the comments, and I will have more coming your way shortly. Later, guys.